Welcome. Thank you for joining us this evening. I have Carolyn Brown with us this evening. I am so very excited. I've known Carolyn for a little while here, and what we are doing is that we are watching the Get to Know Carolyn Brown interview. So it's going to be very exciting. I've known Carolyn for, oh gosh, I would say 6 months, maybe more. And I just have to say, I am just so impressed by this lady. She has really made a positive impact in my life and motivated me and inspired me. And it's very, very exciting. And so I'm looking forward to having her talk with us this evening. I'll tell you a little bit about her. Carolyn found her purpose and her passion by becoming a production coordinator and a virtual assistant as well. She's gotten groups together. She's actually produced over 350 live shows, 36 live events, and coordinated teams from all over the world. And I worked with her recently in December. We'll talk about that in just a minute. And she is going to tell us about how she has overcome some just unbelievable stuff in her life, domestic abuse, sexual abuse, some very difficult issues, and dealt with those to become a successful business owner and an exceptional volunteer. And so I'd like to welcome you. Thank you very much for joining me this evening, Carolyn.
Thank you, Stephen.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome. So I appreciate everybody that's taking time to come and join us this evening. What I'm going to do is just mention to you that if you have some questions for Carolyn, we'll take some questions at the end of this or somewhere in the broadcast. I don't know. Whenever it happens, it does. But so if you have a question, but what I'm going to do is suggest first, share this video out. If you have someone that you feel that might benefit from this, and this is going to be a powerful broadcast this evening, because we're going to talk about some pretty tough stuff. But Carolyn is going to tell us about how you can overcome that, and you can use things like doing artwork to overcome and just be functional and do the best that you possibly can with your life. And so, if you know somebody that could benefit from this, please do share it out to your friends and to the groups that you belong to as well. And so, without further ado, Carolyn, welcome again, and just tell us now. I understand that at about 7 years old, there was a pretty traumatic situation that took place for you. Maybe you want to share that with us. Or if you'd like to, just start by introducing yourself.
So I'm a mother of 2 children and a grandmother of 7 grandchildren. I'm 53 years old, and I've overcome a huge hurdle in my life, just say, a big journey.
Mm-hmm.
So I come from a family of 5. So I have one older brother, one younger brother. I'm the middle child. I'm the only girl. And I always felt like I was the odd person in my family because being the redhead, left-handed, and everybody else was right-handed in my family. My my dad was an alcoholic. He would work. He was a very good worker, but he would come home and he'd be drinking all the time, like from the time he got home to the time he go to bed, and sometimes even in the morning before he go to work. So when I was 7 years old, he used to send my mom to bingo and my brothers to the store, and he'd tell me that he'd have something to tell me, and he'd end up taking me to his room, and he would actually sexually molest me.
Wow, that's terrible. It's not something that I can relate to personally, but I just can't imagine did what did that do? How'd that make you feel?
I was scared. I mean, I'm just a little girl. I didn't know what was happening and I didn't know what to do.
Right?
Um, it went on for 7 years.
Wow.
He told me that if I told anybody that he would kill me.
Mm,
A couple of times he abused me by, smacking my head against the wall.
mm.
And I had to hide this and I couldn't say anything and I was just so scared.
Right, you were in fear for your
And,
life, it sounds like.
well, yeah, and
Yeah.
when my mom wasn't at home and my brothers were gone, I was so scared, like, what's going to happen. And
Mhm.
so that went on for quite a few years. And eventually, I had told somebody when I was, in my early teens, and ended up calling the police. And my dad did go to jail for 6 months. And I mean, it's
Mhm.
so hard to believe that he only got 6 months for what he did. But
Wow, yeah, no kidding, huh?
so at the age of 14, I ended up going into foster care for 4 years. And I was an angry child. Um, yeah, that's me. It was so sweet and innocent then, but as I grew, there was a pattern I created. And I was a very troubled teenager. I got into a lot of trouble. I used to, bill calls to other people's home numbers. I took my foster parents' car and I smashed it.
Mm,
And um, I just was not a happy child or a happy teen. And that pattern kept creating on throughout my life. I would have sex with all kinds of guys, because that's just what I knew in life, that's what I needed to do to find the proper love. And
okay, right. So you associated sex with being loved and being cared about.
mhm,
Mhm. Yeah. And yet we know today that that's not really true love. That's not how love is
no.
expressed. Right.
And it took me a
Right.
long time to find what love was.
Exactly. Now, we were talking, you were saying at like 18 years old that at that point you, um, what, got
I ended
married?
up
Is that what it was?
No, I
Yeah.
ended up being a stripper at 18 years old
Oh,
to make money
oh,
to
okay.
survive.
Sure. Sure.
I also was gang raped by two bikers. I was sexually molested with beer bottles.
Oh my God.
Um,
Wow.
yeah, this is hard.
It is. I'll bet you it is hard. And if it's too hard for you, then we can change the
So
subject.
my life is I became a very heavy drinker and a drug
Mhm.
user.
Mhm.
And Friday nights and Saturday nights, I would have my name reserved on a table at a bar.
Mhm.
And I would go home with whoever because I figured they're going to love me one day, and that's not what happened. I was thrown aside afterwards, and I just kept doing that. And then at the age of 21, I met my kid's father and thought he was a great guy, met him at the
Mhm.
bar, thought life was going to be really good. And I accidentally got pregnant, and I got pregnant with my son. Didn't know who this person was really, didn't know the insides and outs of him. And to find out that my best friend, which we'll call him Red, he's no longer with us now, he has passed on, was
Right.
actually my kid's father's brother. And I did not know that because they don't look like each other. They're like total opposites.
Right. Well,
And
okay.
when my friend told me that that was his brother, I was totally shocked.
I can imagine.
And I went through so much hurt, domestic violence. Um, I was, beat up on the street from him. I was pulled out of bed in the middle of the night to service for his friends by cooking dinner at 3 in the morning. And if I didn't, he would throw things at me like cups and ashtrays. He stabbed me in the leg with a fork.
Oh, my goodness.
Um,
So you
yeah,
were somebody, I mean, like, treated
I
like
was
a
just a
piece
portable
of
punching bag for
merchandise,
somebody.
yeah, and almost like a slave to
Yeah,
them, and
and that was the pattern I created.
well, I don't know that
It's
you
it's
necessarily
it's what I
created.
attracted.
Yes, okay, yes, and that I know that this happens is that we become a product of our environment if we allow that, And
Hmm.
then some of these tapes that we learn as a child, we recognize as we get older aren't the truth, and that some changes need to be made. And so you did realize that you needed to make some changes. Now, um, you're married now. You've got children, correct?
Yes.
With yes, and this is a
No.
picture. No, this is not
There,
the right
he's
picture.
not. He's yeah. That's the picture. That's my son
Yes,
and my third youngest grandson, and that's my husband now.
yes, excellent. That's quite a derby he's got. And this is the current picture here. Now before you actually
Yes.
started making this transformation, this is your before picture here.
Yes.
And so then you started deciding to take care of yourself. And
Yeah.
so tell us about that. Now I know that you are and I want to know about the virtual assistant. I mean, I see people talking about virtual assistant, but tell us maybe about what you do for work, and then I'd like to talk about the things that you do that create some enjoyment and some uh, diversion and some healing as well for you. But tell us about your work
So if
now.
we go back to that picture with the pink sweater and the long hair,
Yes.
is where I was just coming out of, just before I met my husband now,
Hmm.
where I just wasn't feeling good. I was going through depression. I was going through anxiety. I was angry. I was screaming, yelling. Um, just, I just didn't know what to do with myself. And then
Oops.
the picture,
I'm sorry I messed that up. Go ahead.
um, and I was just like, I was just so angry with myself. And I just, I needed help. I really needed help. And so I went into a program of personal development to help myself clear out the space that was there for me, because I had no family around to trust or to talk to. So I went to a program and I was able to finally express how I was feeling or where I was going in life. And I was able to call up these people, and that's why I call Friday the Forgiveness Friday, is that I had to give
Mhm.
forgiveness to these people that hurt me in my life.
You did. You
And
mentioned that this morning on my earlier my sunrise
mhm.
video about it being, Forgiveness Friday. I think that's so awesome. Um, and so you've learned to be able to, I guess, forgive the people that have
Well, first of all, I
violated.
had to forgive myself.
Okay, right. So that's a key ingredient is to forgive
Yes,
yourself first.
you have to. In
And
order
then
for you to move on,
how did you feel when you finally realized that you needed to forgive yourself? How did that make you feel when you
it felt
released
good. It really felt good because I was able to get rid of the suitcase, the trunk, everything
it?
that was
Hmm.
sitting on my shoulders. And I was
Right.
able to release that, and my dad 2 years ago was the person that I had to forgive. I will never
Right.
forget, but I had to
Right.
forgive. And my dad was very ill. He got lung cancer in 2017 in September. And
Okay.
December 23rd, he passed away with lung cancer. But before he passed away, I told him that I will forgive him, but I will never forget. And I sat by his bed and I sang to him his
Mm.
favorite song from Scotland. And I finally said to him, Dad, it's time to let go now. It's time to be with heaven. Go be with your sister, go be with your nephew. It's time to leave this earth, and I felt good because I was able to express that to him. Whether he heard me, whether he understood what I was saying to him, it still gave me peace. And
That
that
I
Friday
mean it's just beyond for me. It's difficult because I haven't been in that situation. But what I would say is that's such an honorable thing that you've done. But then I also recognize that when we forgive ourselves and the people that have done things against us, terrible stuff against us, that it is freeing.
Mm-hmm.
and that out of that freeing experience, well, then we can start working on putting our life back together and creating a future for ourselves. And so that's what you did.
Mm-hmm.
So you decided to get into being a virtual assistant, doing the events. What spurred you to to be the event coordinator?
Well, the program that I went to for 4 years, I used to be an assistant coordinator down there. So I used to
Hmm.
set up the events. I used to run a team down there, and I used to run a production team. So it was being the captain of the team and giving out the work for the participants that were in the program,
Hmm.
setting up the chairs, doing the water, like just really being a team player with everybody and helping these people transition through whatever they're going through, because this is now the next group coming in.
Right. And so now in different ways, even with your job, it sounds like you just work at helping people
Yes,
and serving others in a great way. Now, we definitely made a connection through the Chemo Buddies for Life organization, and maybe you'll tell us about that experience. So, obviously, you'd been touched by cancer because your
yes.
father had passed, and so tell us about your volunteering then with the
So
Chemo Buddies, because I think
just
that
on this
that's
arm here, I don't know if you can see it.
there you go. Yeah.
Uh, Anyways, there's a swallow bird here. And
Okay.
basically, that swallow bird is to swallow everything that my father did to me.
Uh,
And underneath it, it says peace. So this is a tattoo representing my dad as
okay.
saying, I'm free now.
Very, very good. So that reminds you too when you're maybe feeling some of the pain that you felt um, by revisiting those experiences to be able to look at that tattoo and say, yeah, that's right. I am free now from that, huh?
Well, there's a purpose why I'm here.
Yes, there is a purpose that you're here. And that's why I'm just feel honestly blessed that you're here sharing this really tough stuff with us because it's difficult. And you know, I want anybody to know that if they're listening tonight and this is really difficult for them because they might have experienced similar situations, that the important thing is to reach out for help.
Yes,
Reach out and ask somebody to just help you. That's what the LWN Foundation is working at trying to do, is be a resource to be able to help people when they have a situation and get them the help or send them to the right people to be able to get help or watch the videos that we've created to get the motivation to recognize that there's hope. There truly is hope, even in the darkest of times. And I find it sometimes to um, grasp, but I recognize that sometimes we have to go through the darkness of life's experiences, no matter how adverse they are, so that we can learn and grow and become better people. And clearly, that's what you've done. Um,
yes.
I just know that you have. Now, you also use art in your
Well,
therapy.
first we'll talk about the chemo buddies. So
Let's
I
talk.
met
Yeah, yeah. Let's do that. That's
so I
because
met Tamara through um, a production show that I was doing, and I actually was buddies with one of her chemo buddies, and I used to have coffee with her every morning. And her name is Sharon Nicholas Ward, and that's how I met Tamara. When she was on one of her shows, she started talking about this person, and we started connecting. And then we put the dots together that I knew Teresa, and that's how we connected together. So then I became part of Tamara's team. She asked me to join in as a junior ambassador. I have now moved up to being a senior ambassador because I took on a little bit more role of the ambassador of helping people that are going through the transition of cancer or would like to be a support buddy. And I set them up on the site and ask them to come and join us, whether they want to be a chemo buddy supporter or they want to be just a supporter for they can either be the patient or the supporter.
Right. Now, Chemo Buddies for Life is an organization headed up by Tamara Hunter, who
Yes.
won Next Impactor of 2019, the very first season. And just as such a beautiful, wonderful person and a cancer survivor as well. Started this foundation, Chemo Buddies for Life, and it's all about connections. It's all about you can be a buddy for someone as a buddy that hasn't had cancer to support and help and be there for someone, as
Hmm.
well as if you happen to be going through cancer. A place where it's a great community. So I want you to tell us a little bit more about that because that's really where I got to start to get to know you was with Chemo Buddies, and it's such a powerful
Yes, we had
organization.
a journey going on there in December.
We did.
When we live streamed from Florida, Toronto, and I think it was California. The three of
Yes.
us were all
Yes.
coming from different states,
And
around the
we
world.
and we also had Christopher Kaysen coming to us from
From
Cambodia, 4 of us
Yes,
at one time, doing a
yes.
sunset here in Florida and doing a
So
sunrise in Cambodia
yeah,
at the same time.
yeah. So we are going global. So I mean, I mean, if there's anybody out there that wants to join on to the Chemo Buddies, it's cb4l.org, and just go sign up as a buddy. And how Stephen and I met is we were both doing a live together on Giving Tuesday in December, and I had put on an event here in Toronto at my friend's tattoo artist place, and we were actually doing tattoos that said F cancer. I'll say that. I won't go into the full word unless you want me to. But we were doing tattoos, and half of the proceeds were going towards Chemo Buddies, and the other part of the proceeds were going towards my girlfriend's shop for the supplies and stuff like that was being used. We also did a live stream there with the school from Centennial College, that's a college here in Canada, and we also had the deputy mayor come out, who was like right on with everything we were doing and asked us if we were going to continue to do another event of some sort here again in our community. Because, when you do stuff like that, it actually brings people together, keeps people out of trouble, also helps the teens stay out of the crime, and shows that we love them, we care. And we're just out here to help. And I think I was brought on this earth to be a helper because I was a caregiver for a lady for 16 years. And she was actually like a mother to me. So that's why I do what I do, is I just enjoy helping others.
I know that you do because I remember that broadcast and I was just in awe of how awesome a job that you had done. You had all kinds of donations for prizes that we were giving away, or
Yeah.
that people could donate and win. And I mean, I was just blown away at how great a job. So I tell you what, if you need somebody to do a coordinate event, I'm telling you, you can do it. Definitely
Well,
look up
when
Carolyn
you
Brown for the
it's like
event
when
stuff. I tell you, it just blew
we
my
clear
socks
our
off.
mind
Hmm.
and we really put what's there and what's important to us and what the mission is. And Chemo Buddies was a mission for me. And I was singly here by myself in Canada, by myself,
Yes.
and I put this event together. And I was so proud of myself because I have never done anything like that by myself without having a team behind me.
Right.
So for me to put on this event, get the deputy mayor, get all the raffles, the gifts, everything, we were just having a ball. The
Oh.
food, I cooked all the food for the event myself too. So, I was nervous, but I did it, and I was proud of myself.
Yes, I'm proud of you too. It was dynamic. I know that that particular day for me, I didn't get the traffic like you had all the traffic. but I do
Yeah, it was a
remember doing
nonstop day.
it was great fun. And I just add that I was blessed because I just have met so many great people with the chemo buddies. But when you
Hmm.
decide to volunteer, it's really powerful. And that's what I see with Carolyn is that she gives back. You know, she's been through some really tough stuff, um, but she's here, she's happy, and by the way, she's happily married now with a kid, and it's so awesome. I just got to show this picture again. You know what a beautiful family. Absolutely. You know we're so. Yeah.
There's another picture of me and my daughter. Did you not get that one?
I don't know that I might have got that one. I don't know if I uploaded it or not.
Mm.
Oops. Sorry. Uh, I have this one though. This is cute. I love
Yeah,
this.
let's see. I think I was about, mm, I think I was about three or four.
Three or
But
four.
this is the picture I put on my Facebook to say, where is that smile from that little girl?
I
You
tell you.
know,
Yeah.
and that's what makes me go back and look at that picture to say, that smile is still in me. It
It
just
is.
took me a while to find it again.
It does. You were 33 years old, as I recall, in talking with you. And then at 33, and I want to know, and I'm sure that the viewers want to know, and I'm just going to remind everybody, if you have a question for Carolyn, please reach out, put it in the comments here, and she's here too, because that's what she does. She helps people through this stuff, like the chemo, with cancer. She's a chemo buddy, and uh, I am too. And we're there to help people. So if you have a question about Carolyn and maybe something that she experienced, please put it in the comments, and we'll ask Carolyn, and she can explain that stuff to us because she's a sweet little girl, isn't she? I just love it. Um,
So what I do now is
yeah.
I've been married for 9 years, coming this July,
Hmm.
and I've been with my husband for 17 years. And today we're celebrating his 65th birthday.
I saw that. And happy
Hmm.
birthday. Make sure happy birthday. It's John,
Yeah,
right? Yes.
yes.
Sweet. Happy birthday. That's so awesome. And I'm so proud of you there.
And
Um,
tomorrow we have the family coming tomorrow to, gather together, have some cake, and just, show the love for each other tomorrow.
that's beautiful. It's family time is important time. It
Yes.
really is. And we were talking earlier about taking time for yourself too. Um, and so I know that you do take time for yourself. And so you do artwork is one
Hmm.
thing. It's pour paint artwork. And I saw it the other day and I was like, oh my goodness, I love it so much. It's just like, wow, that's just the coolest pictures I'd seen lately. So perhaps do you have some of these pictures you can show us and tell us about this pour paint?
So this pour paint is on a canvas. I don't know if you can see it there.
There you go. Beautiful. Oh my goodness.
So it's on an 8 by 10 canvas, and basically is you layer up a cup with your different colors that you want to put in the painting. Like, so there's different ones I have. So this is another one.
Very impressionist style. That's what I got. It was like, oh, impressionist, but the vivid colors.
And then this is the last
Okay.
one I just recently did.
Yeah, love it. Just beautiful, beautiful artwork.
So
And you're gonna,
again,
yeah,
you
go ahead.
just take a little cup and you just layer your colors in the cup. And what you do is you pour it onto the canvas and you just like slowly pour it, and it just, rotate the cup back and forth. And then once all the paint is on the canvas, you basically just tilt it back and forth, and this is what it creates. So this one here is called the Unicorn Bonfire River Flow. So if you really look at it, you can actually see the unicorn in the
Mhm.
picture there, which is up in this corner. Whoops,
Mhm.
up in this corner here.
Yes,
The
yes,
white
yes.
is
Yeah.
actually the unicorn.
Ah, that is so dynamic how that just came out like that, right?
So This one here, which is really funny when you look at it, nobody can really see it, but I actually did. This one here is called The Magical Boy in the Crystal Universe.
I
So,
love the way the highlighting comes out there.
so right
So,
here
mm-hmm.
is actually the little boy, and the white piece beside it is actually the crystal standing up.
So that's so awesome. And so this is something, how long have you been doing this artwork like that?
I stopped doing artwork for a while because like I said, I stopped doing a lot of things
Mm-hmm.
because of what was going on in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't know where I was going, so I actually got inspired by doing this again by having a conversation with a coach who gave me a 30-day challenge to get out of my funk and turn my negative into positive. And then I started watching your shows in the morning that inspired me to start my day, and not live in the past. Get rid of that past. It's no longer with me. It doesn't define who I am. But I did start when I started the Chemo Buddies. I started creating my animals. So this is the duck I made, and this
Does
is
that duck
actually
have a name?
this duck. It doesn't have a name yet, but
Not
he's
yet.
actually a gift from my girlfriend who's having a baby girl. So I'm actually going to make a river pond around him and put him on a box. And he's actually going to go as a gift for a baby shower.
So here I want to just put, I didn't want to put that one up. I wanted to put this one up because we are powered by StreamYard and they have a duck. And I said to Carolyn, I said, you got to get them to get a duck from you. It's just
Yeah.
so cool.
Well, I
It's like,
make
yes.
different ones. I mean, this is another one here. I call him the bumblebee, the busy bee,
Yeah, that's what it
and
looks
he's
like,
got his
sure.
wings on the back.
That is
So
so
I
cool.
just, it clears my mind. It gets me in a different space of thinking. Um, I love
Well, you
acrylic.
see, yeah,
Yes,
Christina's
that is
does it.
acrylic painting I do.
Yes, it is so cool. It's really awesome, and hopefully, maybe in the future, I suggested to her that she should. I like it so much. I want some of it, but I said, yeah, she should sell this art. It's that great. Now, I do have a question, and I want to let everybody know that I really appreciate you, and I'm just going to shout everybody out right now. I do appreciate everybody taking time to come and join. And Sandy's here. Christina Scullin is here. Robert Brooker. Um, let me just scroll through here. Veronica Mendez. I'm going to have her question up right now. And she wanted to know, what did you do to overcome the emotional trauma?
Like I said, I went to a 4-year program.
Was that a program that was
Personal
like a
development.
residential or outpatient
It's an
type of?
outpatient. It's called Landmark. I'm not sure if anybody's familiar with Landmark. It's worldwide,
Okay.
and basically, I would go for 3 days in this program. It was very secured. Not everything that was in the room stayed in the room. You weren't allowed to share outside of the room. So it got everybody to release whatever was there for their trauma from a young age, even up until the age I am now. My
Right.
husband took the same program too,
Yeah.
because he had some trauma in his life too.
Hmm.
So with being on the same page together, we're able to get through, our conflicts, and we can have a civil conversation together. So that's how I got over it. I mean, don't kid me, it's still there. It's just not visible now because I was able to release a lot of it when I was in this program for 3 days.
That's awesome. And so that was a long, long haul for you, 4 years of going through therapy to try and help yourself get better. What is probably the most impactful part of that program for you?
I got to meet a lot of people that went through the same situation as me and was able to, have the conversation with them and, hear the different stories, because You always think that your story is the worst, but
Mhm.
until your story is not that bad. Somebody else's story may be a lot worse than yours.
That's what I found, when I think I had it bad, somebody else had it worse. And and
Hmm.
and so we just need to always be cognizant of things can happen. And one of the things I had to learn, and I hope I don't offend anybody here, but the point is for me, I had to stop feeling sorry for myself.
Yep.
Uh, you
The
know,
pity party.
yeah, well, it was a great reason for me to want to have a drink, and then another, or 10.
Hmm.
So thankfully that's not my situation anymore, because like I've said in my videos, acceptance is the answer
Hmm.
to all my problems. When you come to acceptance and accept it for what it is, you know then it releases you from the burden
Hmm.
of the situation. Now, Sandy Jew has a question for you, and she says, "Can she ask a silly question?" And when you say you have forgave yourself, do you still feel the emotion, or are you actually able to look at the circumstance without feeling the emotion, angry or something? Hope is your question makes sense. So I think I'd like to hear the answer to that.
So the answer to that is that I still have emotions.
Mhm.
We'll never get away from our emotions in our story. What I can say about my story now is that certain parts of my story I can go through with no problem, with no emotions, but then there's certain triggers, um, as you notice when I started to talk about some of the
Yeah,
stories that I
sure.
don't normally say, is what triggers me and
Yeah,
the emotions come out. But
we're
believe
human.
me, it was the hardest thing, but I was always told by somebody, the more you tell your story, the less the river flows.
Yes, I agree with that. And that's part of routines, I think, is what we're referring to now. Is that if we get into a good, healthy routine, like doing the artwork, like we were talking about,
Hmm.
um, and being surrounding yourself with people that support you,
Yes.
that aren't being judgmental of you,
Hmm.
um, and doing it routinely, and releasing yourself from the past and saying, "Hey, it happened, but I need to go on," is the key, and it gets easier the more you do it. And
Hmm.
what I've really found is that for me, it's a lifetime commitment now to try
It
and
is.
do the right thing. It's not just something I can do on Tuesday and think it's going to work, and because it won't. Because what we're talking about here also was the retraining of our thinking. The well, referred to as NLP, the neuro linguistic programming, cognitive behavioral therapy, but retraining our thinking. Would that was part of your therapy in that 4-year program?
There was we talk about the neurons, how they
Hmm.
fire. So basically, it's our neurons in our brain that fire, that trigger the things that we say and what we do.
Yeah.
There was one exercise that we had to do, which was very powerful, which really put me into a space of like scared. I was that little girl. I was standing in front of this person,
Hmm.
and basically you're staring into this person's eyes, and basically you're not allowed to say anything. You just
Hmm.
completely stare at that person. And what happens is the neurons start firing, so it starts creating the pattern of what you had in the past. Things maybe this person represents, somebody from your past, and it'll show up and the tears will start falling down your face. You know what I'm saying? So when I used to tell my story, believe me, I used to cry. I used to blubber. I couldn't, it was uncontrollable cry. Now, as it's been over a year now that I've been able to pull my story out without being judged by my family. I don't care what they think, because honestly, this is my story. I'm the
Hmm.
one that went through this, not them. And if they don't understand that, then that's their problem. And I was told by somebody, you know what, if they don't like it, they know where the blue button is, and they can delete themselves from my Facebook. They can delete themselves from my life. It doesn't really bother me now.
There you
And
go. I love that strength. I do love that.
So I ended up getting rid of 200 people off of my Facebook because of negativity, judgment, all that kind of stuff. And I'm not here to take that. I'm here to put myself in a space of positive with a bunch of positive people that are going to uplift me and not bring me down and have me stay in the past. I'm here
Exactly.
to move forward.
And groups like the Chemo Buddies for Life and the LWN Foundation are just that, the judgment-free zones.
Yes.
We don't discriminate against anybody for what you think or if your religion or what the color of your skin is that we're all equal. We're all just
Hmm.
people. And all we are is trying to help people achieve a higher quality of life. And if you have a high quality of life already, it could be better too. We can always make it better, it seems like. And if nothing less, that routine of doing the right things, the healthy things that it takes. And that's what I've tried to do with the broadcast in the morning,
Hmm.
by doing the affirmations on Mondays and doing uh, the empowerment on Tuesdays and doing the health and wellness stuff on Wednesdays and thankfulness on Thursdays and loving Friday. And putting all of that together in a daily routine is what I've done and what has worked for me. And apparently it's helped you too, because we were talking about that earlier. You getting up earlier these days.
Hmm.
And you said that you feel like your day is going better as a result of doing a positive routine.
Yes. I mean, today I was up at 5:30 and I'm like, oh, come on. It's like, when is this going to start? But
Right.
it puts me into a clearing space to start my day. I love to hear the birds. I just close my eyes and I just clear everything that's in my space. When I get up in the morning, I'm ready to start my day. So
That's
today I went out and got my husband's cake for his birthday for tomorrow. Like, I was able to get myself motivated instead of slumping and being on the couch or, not doing what I should be doing. And, it's now got me into that routine of getting up and listening to the meditation every morning. And I also do meditation on Tuesdays and Thursdays with the spiritual mind and growth group that I created with Mark Cooper. So I'm on calls there at 12 o'clock Eastern time. And we talk about what's going on in our lives, what's there for us, what shows up for us. And then we go into a full meditation, and we're on the call for an hour. So it's really helped me, um, keep my mind clear. Otherwise, I'm one of those people that I will go back in my head and start thinking and creating things in my head.
Like Denise Pendexter here, a good friend. Um, she says it. You are powerful, Carolyn.
Thank
You
you,
know,
Denise.
you are such an inspiration, and hope that tonight, I know that we probably touched somebody that you know is feeling better as a result of recognizing that we can come out of the darkness into the light, but it is a choice. So it took you a lot of work, isn't that correct?
Oh, we did. And I noticed that Rachel Johnson made a comment there about being in a foster care too.
She did.
And believe me, um, it's not easy being in somebody else's house and having somebody else to give you rules and regulations of what you have to do because you have to follow them.
Yeah.
And um, I'm going to say that my foster care homes were not the greatest. They were abusive.
Hmm.
Um, so no matter where I went in my life, there was always abuse. And now I can say I'm in a safe place now. I've been here in my home for 17 years now with my husband, my
Hmm.
two kids, my grandkids, and I feel finally, for once in my life, I feel safe.
That's exceptional, and it's a good feeling, isn't it?
It
And
is.
you're clearly a strong person now, and so what we've been talking about is releasing the past, forgiving yourself, starting there, and then sharing the love. I mean, in a nutshell, that's what it's about.
Hmm.
By utilizing and surrounding yourself and reaching out and asking for help and getting support when you need to have that support. is
Yes, and
the
it's the
key
most
factor.
important thing. There's lots of resources out there for people. So anybody that's going
There is.
through domestic abuse or sexual abuse, honestly, please reach out to your services or wherever you are, because that's what they're there for. That's what they are there to help you transition through. It took
And
me a long time. I was in my early 30s when I finally did this program. I finally, for the first time, got married when I was 45.
well, and you know, does it matter about the age? No. It
No,
matters
but
about the
I finally
happiness
found
level,
true.
right?
I found true love at age 45, you
It's
know?
beautiful. That's so beautiful. I consider myself kind of a late bloomer too, I mean, I had some successes as a younger person, but it took me a long time to get to the point where I am today, to be
Mhm.
happy and enjoy everyday life. But
Mhm.
I also recognized that I had to go through some of that stuff. I had to make some choices that really hurt myself, and I've apologized and made up, as best I can for the people that
Mhm.
hurt, because we hurt people around us, especially our loved ones. And but it is a long process, and it's not something that necessarily happens overnight, but it starts with that, just forgiving yourself. I know that it does.
Well, I
Um,
mean, I had to forgive my kids too. Like I put my kids through a lot, you know,
yeah,
and I didn't talk to
yeah,
my oldest one, which is my son, who you saw in the gray suit there, for 4 years. Because I hurt him too,
yeah.
not physically, but I
Right.
emotionally from the people that I had been with, relationships that abused my son, and that's on me, and that's the thing, you have to own up the mistakes that you make. We all make mistakes, but
Hmm.
the thing is to be honest with them, and we had a long talk before he got married last year. And I wasn't allowed to go to the wedding until I cleaned up with him.
Hmm.
We had to clean up with both of us on each side, So once we did that, we are now building a fresh relationship together.
And that can happen.
Hmm.
It does happen. And I know for myself, I have a higher power, and so that's been a big part of mine, because I also released myself of having to think that on my own will I was going to be able to achieve some stuff. Um, and by turning my will and my life over to my higher power, all of a sudden things started getting easier for me, and then I got the ideas. But it's about taking action on the ideas and
Hmm.
implementing them into our life. Um, it's a very dynamic story. I am so proud of you, and I think part of the focus here is that you can enjoy a good life. You have to take action to do it,
Yes.
and volunteering. Now that's a big part of it, and so you get a lot of joy, I think, out of volunteering, don't you?
Oh, I do.
Yes.
I get
Yeah.
to meet so many great people, and hear their stories,
Mhm.
and be on the same journey with them now, And I am so grateful to have both my children in my life again. And we're just like this tiny little family again, and we're not broken.
There you go. I'm doing the same thing. I'm being blessed because I'm slowly but surely mending some relationships with my kids,
Hmm.
and I've mended them with my family, and these things can happen. Um, but it was up to myself to make sure I made some changes to achieve that.
Hmm.
Um, and then the hard part too is sticking by it. But then that's where I had talked about earlier, and I think that Carolyn affirmed the routines. By doing it, it gets easier and easier and easier, and
It
it is
does.
hard. It is hard at first, and I know that
Oh.
I know that Sandy was going. Yeah, we do feel this stuff, especially when we go in back. And I'm just going to tell a personal story here now, quickly. I know the show is for you, but I wanted to talk about healing, and it had to do with the chemo buddies for life. And right at that moment there, when I really, jumped all in, and it was such a growing experience to volunteer for them and what I did. and put on that function down at Siesta Key. But I immediately started having to deal with the loss of my second wife, who died from cancer,
Mm.
at 57 years old. It's like, I hadn't dealt with that. But that helped me deal with it. And now it's just easier because I've been surrounded by people like yourself and others in the Chemo Buddies for Life. It's just given me strength to be able to accept it. And as part of the acceptance part of what,
Well, I mean,
it,
you have to forgive yourself, right? And you have to allow yourself to heal through that process before you
yes,
can actually move forward.
yes. And then on the day, and I don't know that I had shared this really with anybody, on that day that I was doing that broadcast on December 3rd, Giving Tuesday, um, I lost a very dear friend that very day.
Hmm.
And I'd seen him 2 days before, and it was like, wow, so all of it, I think everything always happens for a reason. And so those were opportunities for me to learn and to grow. And that's what I think is the important factors if we open our minds. Now, I think of you as a leader. I think of you as a very dynamic person, and I'd like for you to just share with us, what is your definition of a good leader?
What my definition is a good leader is being with integrity, being authentic, being real, leading the pack, you know. For myself, I am a very, I am a person of integrity. I'm a person of,
Mhm.
of, in, oh my God, I'm lost for
Authentic.
words there. Authentic.
Yeah.
And, and when I keep my word, I keep my word,
Yes.
so that's the thing of a leader.
Yes.
Um, and with Tamara, I worked hard with her.
Yes.
She's a great person. I'm
Yes.
so blessed to have met her.
Yes.
And that's what gave me the opportunity to keep me going with the program I did, is to be with integrity and be authentic and keep my word. When I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it.
That's the integrity part of it. Now,
Hmm.
we talked about the fact that you also are an event coordinator and as well a virtual assistant. I know that I tried to ask that because I got ahead of myself on that. But there's,
So what I
besides
do,
the fact that you're a great volunteer,
guys.
you got some great skills. So tell us how people can reach out to you and you can help them.
So my email is berzins carol@gmail.com, or you can reach me on Facebook. What I am as a production coordinator and virtual assistant is I set up live interviews, just like what Stephen is doing right now. And I send people to their shows and have them come on and tell their stories, their journeys, and what type of business that they are doing now. That's basically what I do online.
That's awesome. Okay. And so it's Carolyn Brown on Facebook. Do you have any other platforms that you're using or no?
Uh, well, I
Are you
have my production page, but I can't think of it right now.
Yeah. Are you on Twitter or Instagram or anything
No,
like that
I'm
as
on
well?
Instagram. Yes.
Yes.
I think it's Barrison Brown on Instagram.
Okay. And people can always just reach out to you by going to your page, Carolyn Brown. Let me just pop this picture back up again here, because I think that this, and correct me if I'm wrong. This picture right here, this is on your Facebook page, is it not?
It's on
Your
my Facebook
profile?
page, but there's a
Yeah.
newer one up there today. I
Okay.
try to change up my
You
picture
had
just
this
to kind
one.
of, yes, I had that one for a while. I
Yes.
change my picture up every day. Actually, the one
Okay.
that you put in the blog
Yes.
for the show to come on, that's the
Yes.
picture that's on my Facebook right now.
Okay. Excellent. So you can reach out to her. She's got an email. Just send her a direct message. Just message her in Messenger. We'll go back after we're done here. I'm sure maybe someone would want to go back and listen to it again as well because there's a lot of information in here. Um, and go ahead and make sure that you put that in the comments. I'm not able to do it right this second here for you, but I
I got
maybe
two phones.
yeah. Well, I got my phone sitting here, but I haven't done anything with it. I'm trying to multitask, and I'm doing the best I can. And see if I get too close to the camera, all of a
There,
sudden I
it's.
disappear.
I just put it in the comments. My
How
email.
did we like that affect everybody? Okay, so wonderful. I really appreciate you taking time to come and join us this evening, Carolyn. It's been a pleasure, and it's been a learning and growing experience. Um, what final words do you have that you can share with our audience of
Um.
inspiration, I'm going to say?
So well, first of all, I want to thank you, Stephen, for having me on your show.
You're very
Um,
welcome.
if anybody, can come on to I think it's the LWN Foundation, sign up, you know, come out and listen to him in the morning, because honestly, it's very refreshing and it really gets your day going. I enjoy it. I've met a couple of good friends on there, Sandy Jew and a
Mhm.
few others, Rachel. Um, it's just peaceful to really, empty your space in your mind and start your day fresh, you know. And if there's anybody out there that's going through domestic violence or, sexual abuse, honestly, reach out to me. I can talk to you, and maybe we can send you somewhere
Yes.
um, to get
Well,
some help.
that's awesome. Now we do have some emergency numbers up on our website www.lwnfoundation.org, and
Hmm.
you can go there. There's some emergency numbers, but it's kind of hard to find. We recognize that we got to work on that website, and we are.
Well, even so, I can send them to you, Stephen, if they want to come talk to me.
Yes,
And
absolutely. And so what we'll be having is a very comprehensive list of references, of hotline numbers that you can call and reach out to. And of course, we're always here. Reach out to us. Let us, if we can help you in any way at all, please
mhm.
reach out to us, because that's what we do. I use Evan Carmichael's thing. It's we are built to serve, and to serve others in a loving and compassionate and understanding way without judgment. And we know how to keep confidentiality as well.
Yes.
So yeah, that's important too.
Yes,
So
confidential, information is very important. Also, too, if they want to, sign up as a chemo buddy, they can go to cb4l.org.
yes,
Up at the right-hand corner, just drop down the menu, go to sign up for a buddy, and we'd be more than happy to have you come into our community there. Stephen and I are both part of that community,
yes.
and it's just a community of love, just like Stephen's program. It's all about love.
That's so awesome. Thank you so very much. I appreciate you talking about the LWN Foundation. We care about you. We appreciate everybody that came and joined. There are some more comments here. I'm going to hit that. We've got a couple of minutes. Here we go. I'm going to put this up. This is a way to get to Carolyn directly. This is her email. So if you want to take note of that, reach out to her. That's so awesome. I'm going to say thank you very much, Sandy, for joining us. She appreciates it. Robert Shallow was with us. Oh, he has a what if. I love his what ifs. We've got to do that. So I'm just going to take this one. So, Carolyn, what if he decided to forgive somebody for the pain they caused him? How can that help him grow and develop? It's a great question, Robert.
Oh, that is
It's a
a good
very,
question.
it's a really good question.
So,
I love his questions.
when you decide to forgive somebody, well, first of all, you have to forgive yourself before you can forgive anybody. You have to release the pain that's inside you, and then sit down and have the conversation with the person, and allow yourself to express yourself to the person on why um, that pain was there for you, and ask them the questions on why they did what they did. So for my dad, I had asked him, why did he abuse me? Why did he rape me? Why did he do the things he did to me? And one was because my mother would never give him sex anymore,
Hmm.
because my mother was at the point of her life that she couldn't handle the drinking and the abuse. So he moved on to the next person, which was me. So you have to be able to release what's inside you first to get rid of that anger, because you can't really sit down and express yourself to the person without releasing that anger.
That's an excellent answer. Um, I really appreciate Robert, and he's got the greatest questions. And thank you so very much. We appreciate you. Um,
Thank you, Robert.
yeah, thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. I'm just going to continue to name the names. Robert Brooker, we love you. He's up in Toronto as well, or
Yeah.
Toronto. Toronto. I'm trying to get that.
Taraka.
You think I know how to do that? I'm from Canada, but no, that was a while
Well, you
back.
can say we are
Oh,
the sixth now.
and I do want to say welcome to Aaron Garcia. I love their show, by the way. Absolutely, positively, Aaron and Veronica have the greatest show. And of course, when I got to think of the name, I can't think of it. But do go check them out as well, because that's some great inspirational stuff. And they talk about all different types of topics, but they are also life coaches as well. Um, and that's on Mondays at noon, and that's well, actually 9 is noon for me, so it's 9 a.m. It's on West Coast time on Mondays and Wednesdays. And if anybody hasn't checked that out, definitely do, because I love watching their show as well. We can learn a lot of good stuff. Thank you for joining us as well, Aaron and Veronica. Thank you so very much. Denise Pendexter was here as well. She's a local friend here in Florida. Sandy, you're just so awesome. We really appreciate you. Um, Christina Scullin, thank you. It's good to see you, Christina, as well. And our dear friend, Rachel Johnson, who shares these art stuff. She's such a crafts oriented person and such a dynamic, loving individual. We want Rachel to get better. I know that she's not feeling so well.
Yeah, I sent
Yeah.
her a healing vibes this morning
Yeah,
to keep her healing better.
exactly. Kevin Rouse, my local friend down here in Northport. I'll put him up because I don't mind plugging him. He's got the Axe House. Um, This is him, the Axe House, Northport, Florida, USA. I love this guy. He loves kids. He loves people. I really appreciate him as well. Um, he did make a comment here about appreciating all the testimony and the life challenges and the recoveries and successes. And yes, that's what we've been talking about, is
Hmm.
overcoming the obstacles, breaking down those barriers that used to hold us back, and going on to be an asset to in our communities. And it's very, very fun, actually. And it's so much
Well,
more
I
fun being.
mean, we enjoyed as we grew in our our younger ages to our teenage to our adolescence, building brick by brick, and we just keep building and we start building a box around ourselves,
It happened.
because we're like in jail because we don't want to release what's there for us, and open up those walls to say it's okay to peek out and say, oh wow, it's a beautiful world out here, you
Yes,
know
it
and we
is.
live in this tiny little box. So once we start breaking those bricks down, things start opening up. Our healing starts to work with us, and we're able to express ourselves. Like I'm telling you, it has been a while since I've been able to express myself the way I want to express myself. It's took many years. So thanks, Robert, for that comment, because honestly, to over, like you said, get over those obstacles and hurdles and all that kind of stuff was taking brick by brick down in order to
Maxine
release it.
Winter, yeah, and Maxine Winter, all the way from the UK, was watching. We had Australia, the UK, of course. We got Toronto with
Uh,
Robert
my
Brooker.
my mom is in the UK. She lives there.
That's so awesome. Maxine is a very dynamic individual. She does some great broadcasting as well. Um, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank
And
you.
Shirley Connolly, and Shirley's got a real story to tell too as well. So I think know that she can really relate to you. Overcoming adversities and the obstacles is one of the most difficult challenges for people. And she's
Hmm.
another person that can help you. By the way, she's up in Ontario too. So we got Ontario going on tonight, and of course that's where I'm from originally as well. And Michael Philip Der Philipposian. Thank you. I hope I hit that right. We appreciate you very much. Um, and so, thank you everybody for taking time to come and join us this evening. We really do appreciate you. If I can just get to know Carolyn Brown. There we are. Thank you so very much. I hope that you've gotten to know Carolyn Brown. If you have any questions or concerns or or just want to reach out and touch us, I will put that back up right now. And Carolyn's got a email. She also is on Facebook. And as soon as I see it right here, you can reach out to Carolyn. You can reach out to me as well. I am at email-wise admin@lwnfoundation.org. And thank you. Have a great
Yeah, so
weekend.
see the picture there, and it's got the heart beside my head.
And there
That's
you
my
are.
that's my new Facebook picture.
I think they're showing through, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
Yeah, hopefully they are on the other side. They are on
yeah,
my
they are.
they are on my page. So wonderful. Everybody take care. I know I'll be back on Monday morning. Uh, as a matter of fact, time change. Isn't that wonderful now?
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
time change on Monday. So that means not 6:30. Well, gosh, that means 5:30 for me. So yeah, 5:30 I start the broadcast. No wonder I get up at 3 or 4 because it takes that amount of time to get
We love
ready.
you, Steven.
Well, I love it. It doesn't bother me. I try and get my rest. Remember to get your rest. Remember to take some time for family this weekend and put a
Yes.
smile on somebody's face. That was what we were talking about this morning. Thank you, everybody. We love you. We appreciate you. Remember to share this video out and tell your friends. Wonderful. Any last thoughts there? Nope. Yes.
Namaste.
Namaste. Bless you all. Have a wonderful weekend.
Wonderful weekend.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you again soon. Remember chemobuddiesforlife.org. Check them out. www.lwnfoundation.org. Check us out there. Let us know what you think and have a great weekend. We'll say
Bye-bye.
goodbye for now.